The Echo Locksmith, in a city of repetition where the buildings stood like clone sentinels and the lives within them ebbed in quiet, rhythmic monotony, there was one anomaly whispered among night dwellers. A locksmith unseen by day, whose existence could neither be proven nor denied. At precisely 3:33 a.m., when a frantic resident found themselves locked out in the dim glow of flickering hallway lights, he would appear. No jingling keys, no toolbox. Just a coat as dark as the corridor's deepest shadows and eyes that reflected the light too strangely, as if they had seen far too much. His fee? A whispered secret. Nothing written. Nothing repeated. Just a breath of truth that had never dared to escape lips before. One by one, the city's unfortunate insomniacs met him. A woman who confessed to stealing years of love she never deserved. A man who admitted he wished his family had left him behind when they fled. Another who whispered his fear that he wasn't real at all, merely a shadow playing the role of a person. Each received what they sought: a door unlocked, a passage granted, a return to the safety of home. But days later, whispers returned in a new form. A woman heard the guilt-ridden confession she had given her voice, unmistakable murmuring through the neighbor's door. A businessman, in his sleepless hours, heard his own self-loathing echoing through the vents. The locksmith had kept their secrets, but he had also given them away. The city rippled with unease. Fear grew in silent corridors where whispers traveled like smoke through air ducts, bleeding through walls too thin to keep them contained. Some tried to track him down, waiting with locked doors and held breath, but he never came when expected, only when needed. Then, one night at 3:33 a.m., a young woman locked herself out. She had heard the stories. She knew the risk. But the locksmith did not take a secret from her. Instead, he leaned in and whispered his own. Something terrible. Something unforgivable. And as her door swung open, she knew she would hear that secret again. But not from herself. Not from him. From someone else. In the sprawling city of repetition, secrets did not belong to their tellers anymore. The Glass Underpass, they called it, a marvel of modern design. The Avery Underpass, a sleek artery of glass and steel threading beneath the city's busiest intersection. Its ceiling was the main attraction, a perfect pane of reinforced crystal-clear glass stretching the length of the walkway. By day, sunlight spilled through it, giving pedestrians the rare feeling of walking through an open field in the heart of concrete. By night, the streetlights above cast shimmering geometries onto the tiles below. But no one talked about how empty it got after dark. I'm not one to fall for ghost stories. I chase them for clicks mostly. My little corner of the internet, the city unseen, thrives on fringe myths and forgotten architecture. But even I raised an eyebrow when I first heard whispers about the underpass. They walk up there at midnight, one man had told me over coffee, his hands trembling around the chipped mug. Walk backwards, upside down, and their eyes glow, miss. Just glow. I asked him what happened if you stayed too long. He wouldn't answer. The next night I was there, midnight sharp. It was colder than it should have been for early autumn. The streets above had gone still, the last buses signing off into the dark. I descended the concrete steps, boots echoing on the sterile white tiles. My phone was set to record, battery fully charged. Around me, the underpass stretched empty and silent. I stopped dead center and looked up. At first, nothing. Just the dark street above, a few sodium lamps flickering amber. My breath fogged the glass faintly, and then a shimmer, like heat haze. The street above shifted. It wasn't the avenue I knew anymore. The sky inverted, black turned to a deep, suffocating gray, and a mirror image of the city slowly faded into view, upside down through the ceiling. Cracked streets, flickering gas lamps, shattered windows, a city in ruin. Frozen embers hung in midair, caught in some impossible suspension. And there, between the broken buildings, they moved. Figures, human-shaped but indistinct, as if sketched in charcoal and shadow. They walked backwards, their limbs bending wrong, feet gliding silently over the air. One by one, their heads turned down toward me, toward the glass. Their eyes opened, luminous, hollow, white as bone. My phone died in my hand with a brittle crackle. I stumbled back, heart hammering in my throat. Something deep inside me, older than reason, screamed, "Don't wave." I ran. Back home, I couldn't sleep. The image stayed burned into my retinas, those eyes staring down as if I were the reflection and they were real. I dug through archives until dawn. The Averly Underpass, it turned out, had been built over the bones of an older neighborhood, Averly Heights, destroyed in the Great Fire of 1965. 200 lives lost in one night, streets scorched clean off city maps. A historian as blog mentioned that the area had been erased with unusual thoroughness. Not a single photograph survived. Urban planners had touted the underpass as a fresh start. They'd literally paved over the past. But some people, I read, don't burn all the way through. I went back. This time I brought everything. Analog camera, old school tape recorder, a notebook. No electronics that could fail easily. Midnight struck, and the city's breath held again. I stepped beneath the glass and looked up. They were waiting. The upside-down city bloomed sharper than before. Ember-frozen streets and smoky skies. Figures drifting slowly backwards, their faces empty hollows, except for one. She stood directly above me. She was me. Or close enough, same height, same long coat, even the same tangled braid trailing over one shoulder. But her face was blank as wax, her eyes burning twin holes of white. Slowly, she raised her hand and waved. I should have left. Every instinct clawed at me to turn and flee, but my hand moved on its own. Just a small wave in return. The glass rippled. A sound like deep thunder rolled through my chest as the figure stepped downward, through the glass as if it were air. My limbs locked. Cold seeped into my skin, rooting me in place. She smiled, wide and jagged like a crack splitting a porcelain mask. Her hand brushed mine. I woke standing in the underpass. Morning light bled through the ceiling. My recorder was gone. My camera blank. My notebook pages all torn out. I haven't been able to leave the city since. Every night, I find myself drawn back to Averly Underpass, as if sleepwalking. And I can't stop looking up, because now, when midnight comes, I see her walking backwards above me, my reflection, my twin. Sometimes she waves. Sometimes I wave back, and each night she looks more like me. Or maybe I look more like her. Somewhere in the city, a man hurries through Averly Underpass to catch the last train. His steps slow as he notices something strange in the glass ceiling overhead. A woman standing upside down, staring straight at him with glowing eyes. Slowly. She starts to wave, and I dumb